So what I was saying is that the methodology, there are methodologies within policy making as well to then generate data. Then there's social media or digital economy or digital world would create its own big data, and many of the projects are to transform local data and information into digital information and data, and that is called digitalization of the economy. While controlled experiment would give micro data methodologies and frameworks. Now, what would be a indigenous? Why? How you will include indigenous knowledge perspectives to then make policy making effective for all the institutions of international governance and well for the government. So you can then you will learn from YouTube an advanced AI language model, which is it's a language model and it is giving perceptions and qualitative details. While at the same time, you would have universities who would be producing academic research insights. Now this aspect would then allow us to then work on a AI software or an application whereby it would develop complex mathematical algorithms following the methodology of the advanced AI language models or the algorithm that define YouTube or social media like X or TikTok. But they are specified in methodologies that are understood within the world of economics, with the world of academia, with the world of policy making, and utilizing all that information to then develop a complex mathematical algorithm or different subsets of algorithms to then entertain analysis of micro and macro data analysis techniques and methodologies. That will be such an algorithm would be then very effective. It would be translating qualitative data into quantitative, and there are so many diverse methodologies, and quantitative data into qualitative. And while at the same time, for example, Gallup, there are marketing research companies across the world, Gallup, Ipsos, they are calculating business data, they are calculating policy data, on daily basis. I mean, with those algorithms developed, these Gallup surveys would then be utilized to then understand the effectiveness of policy or to guide policymakers. The ingenuity, resilience, intelligence, hard work, ethics, trustworthiness of the policymakers, including bureaucracy, politicians, and military bureaucracy, would still be there. But then there would be an expert advice that would be available through utilizing AI technologies. And what I'm saying is that technology would depend a lot on how we understand or developed. We are able to develop advanced language models like ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, or how we have developed algorithms for YouTube or other social media websites. They seem to be non-serious, but they would bring or they would introduce the foundations of such a complex system of mathematical algorithms that would then utilize microdata methodologies of control experiments, survey methodologies, or these project evaluation methodologies to then guide policymakers. For example, it could, for example, if political stability is intended, it could give you certain tools and guidance to the policymakers that if adopted through creative measures, through a static value creation, through design understanding, or through better academic understanding and learning, as if every complex explanation could be explained in very simple words. So perceptions for millions of people could be in a nation state could be created to then understand an academic position, for example, which is for the case of Pakistan, political stability and support to the incumbent government to complete its 5-year term, so that the work of Ministry of Finance and Planning Commission under the leadership of Muhammad Aurangzeb as the Finance Minister and Professor Ahsan Iqbal in Planning Commission would then be facilitated. Now this seems to be that mathematical algorithms would then utilize indigenous data instead of qualitative perceptions with complex methodologies of monitoring and evaluation and micro data generation methodologies to then bring more understanding to the public about a principle understanding, about a scientific understanding in simple words, in simple methodologies, which would be would be defined through social life, or would be defined through other social characteristics of the citizen or for millions of citizens, and thereby political stability could be achieved, and then the government would complete its 5-year terms. And not only that, Pakistan would have a more than 6% economic growth rate on the sustainable basis. Definitely there are so many other challenges, but that algorithm would guide them as well. This is just a basic idea, connecting the world of economics with the world of policy making, connecting social sciences, understanding behavioral economics and behavioral sciences with the world of policy making. And yet again I would explain, it cannot be possible. It could not have been possible without really understanding how coding is developed and how mathematical algorithms are developed and they function in social media websites, for YouTube and for AI language model, artificial intelligence, advanced artificial intelligence language model like ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot. So it would what I'm saying is it would change around the perception of AI. I mean, policy making AI would be just knowledge creation AI would just be an assistant to the world of policy making to make governance far more effective through that kind of an algorithm. Knowledge creating AI would then address identity crisis as well, by certainly changing or facilitating a perception that would allow citizens, for example, in the modern world, in developed world, to then have more flexible and diverse opinion for different political point of views, so that identity crisis could as well be resolved. And there are so many aspects which can be worked upon. But what I'm saying is the work, who would really do the work? Definitely, it would be World Bank funding, or it would be USAID funding, or Asian Development Bank funding, or it could be DFID funding, or it could be any other international NGOs collaborating with the institution of international governance like United Nations or World Bank would then fund different pilot projects where we have a multidisciplinary team, including economists, academicians, some psychologists, sociologists, computer scientists, and policymakers would allow a team. And at GIK, I would already work with higher education, which was funded by more than a few $100 million to then ask Pakistani universities to bring very creative and new project proposals, which can really create great difference, not only for the local population, but for the province and for the nation state as well. So that idea is such an idea which could be then worked upon with a multidisciplinary team to then appear to be more convincing and appear to be words of wisdom rather than my creations, which is I'm just working on the idea. It's just an idea, but it's an amazing idea. A knowledge creating AI, and for that you need to be working with MIT and World Bank. That's for sure. And if such, I'm also this understanding about mismatch between academia, economics, theory, and policy making is discussed now. It has been more than 2 decades. Definitely, language model has been, artificial language model has been developed. Social media has now new meanings. But at the same time, World Bank, all these projects that World Bank funds, or TIFID, or USAID, or Asian Development Bank funds, or any other international NGO, or would fund, would by now that this idea must not be a new idea, but a lot of the governments would be working with international institutions of governance to make policy more effective based on certain theoretical frameworks, and thereby the qualm of Darren Acemoglu, Dani Rodrik, Joseph Stiglitz, and many other professors who would say that it's a new colonization. The capitalism would create new colonization and exploitation would rather be resolved, because it will be proven that it was asymmetric information resolved by knowledge creating artificial intelligence. And that's a great idea.